Hi, my name is Kate Jones, and today I am presenting my digital portfolio presentation from my class using technology for teaching and learning. We had the exciting opportunity to create a portfolio of our progress through the class. We started out with creating our own websites or our own portfolios in order to showcase our learning as we progress through the class. The tabs I have presented at the top of the screen here are listed week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now previously I did not have those specific weeks listed, but for classroom organization for myself as well as the teacher, I did include the week. Presenting this in a educational setting or sharing with others, I would probably take out the weeks and just list the different titles to share to make it more diverse for different needs. The first tab that I have is labeled Week 1, 21st Century Teaching and Learning. And we started out by creating our own personal mission statement. And what this was is our ideals on technology, how it affects us, what it means to us, and how we want to apply that into education. I think this was a really important start to creating this portfolio because it helped me see exactly what I wanted to get out of this portfolio, the kinds of things that I wanted to have in it, the kind of things that I wanted to expand on and learn and wanted to show to other people. So I think this is a really important section that you would want to include in any professional development setting to help the users get an idea of what they want to get out of their portfolio. The second thing we did in this week was a word cloud, and I kind of wondered how people made word clouds. Not enough to research, but I did wonder myself. So I was excited for this assignment because it made me kind of look into things. And on the internet, you can find all different kinds of programs that are free. You just type your words in and you can randomize. Some of them you can choose designs, but this is a fun activity to kind of introduce creating the portfolio as well, getting teachers to create whatever technology is to them, which then in turn they can take this back and their students can create it. I think they would get a lot of excitement out of being able to create this for themselves. Week 2, we moved into diverse classroom learners and technology. In this assignment, we created media application scenarios, and we needed to come up with programs to meet those specific needs. Now, depending on what your personal focus is or what you want your teachers to focus on, this is a really good way for getting people to think outside of what they would normally do to help someone else. So you can set up whatever age group, whatever culture you're working with. You can pick these scenarios based on things that are exactly relevant to where you're teaching and have teachers brainstorm technologies to help in these situations. It kind of helps them figure out when they come to their own scenarios or their own issues, helps them kind of have the mindset of how to figure out how to solve those problems for themselves. So this was a really exciting section. I would expand on this section further. We had a really short time period to create this, and honestly it felt like it was a little bit rushed. I would give a longer time frame and maybe a couple more scenarios so that teachers can really get a good idea and kind of delve into the programs to try and solve these situations to share with others. But this was a really good expansion point on seeing how programs specifically applied to certain situations. The next week we went into creating a presentation known as a lunch and learn. And our purpose for this was to create a presentation about integrating technology in different situations. So we had different limiting factors like only one computer in a class or only certain types of devices. This is really important because it kind of can show every teacher that no matter what situation you're in, there is a way to integrate technology. Sometimes you may have to get more creative. You may need to look for outside grants or outside sources or use technology that people currently already have. But this helps kind of hone in on no matter what your situation is, it's not an excuse for not having integration. So this section I think is really, really important to focus on in any presentation that you're giving, because it can show that no matter where you're coming from, you can make it happen. The next week we worked into emerging trends in integrating technology, and this was a really good section because it specifically started talking about current educational trends. So this is exciting because teachers get to take information that they already know, or maybe even do a little bit more research to find something that's exactly relevant to education today. Instead of looking at what if situations, you're able to come in with specific ideas and trends that are happening now and talk about the pros and cons of these situations, and you can kind of evaluate the worth of, is this trend something that seems like it's going to last? Is this something that's relevant to our classrooms? Is this something that we might want to implement, or even something that we might want to stay away from? Trends can kind of be like fads and come in and out, so this is a good one to be able to take a deeper look, and shows you how to make decisions and how to look at specific trends to see if it's something that is worth taking the time to do. From there, we went into legal and ethical issues. This is a really important section because it's a section that people kind of dread because it's kind of dry. It's not the most exciting, but we needed to come up with resources for specific legal and ethical issues. In this case, we covered copyright, fair use, Creative Commons, FERPA, and technology privacy concerns, as well as plagiarism and academic dishonesty. While it is dry, this was really important because it kind of gives a place to go. So anytime I have questions, either that a student has asked or I'm wondering myself, I have a place that I can come back to and find specific resources that I pulled that cover these topics to help me answer those questions. The other thing that we created was an editorial, and it talked about the digital divide, and this was a humbling experience to kind of look at what really is dividing us between digital use and people who may be getting left behind, and how to close that gap in our schools, which I think is something that's really important that we don't think about. So this is a really important section. Even if you think, well, I could skip this one, this really is good to show teachers and remind them that every student is different and that we need to consider things outside of our own situation. My final tab is labeled Week 6, and I would need to come up with a better name for that section. But this was our final week's work, and we created a presentation for best practices and trends for technology integration. This was a lot of fun because we specifically got to break down how to integrate into the classroom and what things we need to take into consideration, which was really important. And then an educational technology toolkit helped us create emails for introducing a book. In this case, it could be a technology or something new. This section is really good for teaching how to really get that technology into any classroom. And that is my portfolio. Thank you so much.